Welcome to part one of my tutorial on understanding the harmonic structure of that great song, One for My Baby and One More for the Road. In my opinion, one of the best songs ever written. The harmony at times can seem quite simplistic, but don't be fooled. Hidden in the song are a number of unique and intricate harmony changes that sets up the overall style of the song. In fact, there's so much going on musically that I had to do this tutorial in two parts. When you start with a brilliant song like this, and then you have it sung by Frank Sinatra along with his accompanist Bill Miller, well, that's when the magic shines. I'll be using the Sinatra arrangement for my analysis. To my knowledge, there's no publication of this version available, so I won't be addressing any music score. The song starts off in C, then after the first verse, moves up two whole tones into the key of E major, 4 sharps. This key change, by the way, is not the norm, but boy, does it work beautifully here. The use of the 4 chord is also unique to the song. The 4 chord is used in 3 different forms. The regular major form, which everybody's familiar with, plus 2 other alternative. The 4 minor chord, and the other dominant, called the blues 4. Blues 4, where does that come from? Well, the blues 4 term comes from the fact that in blues, all primary chords, 1, 4, and 5, use a dominant 7th, and it's this form of the 4 chord which gives that bluesy flavor to the song. Both these alt chords are borrowed from the parallel C minor harmony. Let's start by looking at the introduction. Usually the last thing to be written, by the way, but it's based on a 4-bar sentence and usually goes around 3 times, so a total of 12 bars. It sets up the overall feel and flavor of the songs. Let's take a look at the harmony. Starts off on a 1 chord, moves to a 5/4, a little tonicization here in a first inversion. The E acts as a leading tone into the 4 chord. Now we're on the regular major form of the 4 chord. Then it goes to F sharp diminished. Where the heck does that come from? That's not in the key, see? Well, again, tonicization. The F sharp is a 7 of the 5. So we have a 7 of the 5 moving to the root of the 5 chord. But in fact, it ends up being a second inversion of the 1 chord. Second inversions are always unstable, so it can't stop there. Arlen takes it up to the flat 6 chord. Where does that come from? Doesn't belong in the key C, but it's borrowed from the C minor harmony and drops down onto the 5 chord and returns right back to the 1 chord. A little turnaround back to the 5 chord, but not before it goes through the flat 6 to the 5. Now, when we add the melody of Bill Miller, these few chord changes are transformed into a delightful tune all of its own. Let's give it a listen. Range way up here, and then he works his way back down, and then the song starts. When most singers sing the song, they tend to sing right through the bar. In other words, they do Saturday night, there's a da-da-da-da-da. Sinatra doesn't do that. Sinatra is noted for his incredible phrasing. He gets the lyric out right away. It's Saturday night, leaving room for Miller to come in. Then he comes in, da-da-da-da-da. Miller answers that, ba-boom, ba-ba-ba-ba. What a great give and take between the singer and the accompanist, both sharing the same limelight. Beautiful. Let's look at the chord structure of One for My Baby, first verse. Okay, it starts very simply on a 1 chord, C. Moves up to a 2 chord, D minor. A 1 chord again, but first inversion, so we're here. Up to the 4 minor chord, that's an alternative to the 4 chord, and simply right back to the 1 chord. Then Arlen walks it right up to the 3 chord, 2, 3, and comes down chromatically in minors to the 2 chord, and simply back to the 1 chord. It doesn't get any easier than that. Then he repeats to the 2 chord, 1 chord in first inversion, to that 4 minor, pushing it back to the 1 chord. Oh, that looks a little different. G minor doesn't really belong in the key of C. Perhaps we are modulating into a new key. Well, G minor is the 2 of F, and I bet it's going to go to the 5 chord. And that's not surprising. So now we have moved into the key of F. Don't look for any key change in the music. Key signature still says C, but it repeats what it did in C. Starts on the 1 chord of F to the 2 chord, to the first inversion of the 1 chord, and then we hear the first blues 4 chord. Oh yeah. And that chord gets reinterpreted down here as a flat 7 in the key of C. All 7th chords, whether they're flat or they're not, have a tendency to move right back to the tonic chord, the 1 chord. So now we slide back into the key of C. Some arrangers will put in a little filler, just walk up to the 3 good. But in actual fact, it stops on C for complete 2 bars. Now that is unheard of. Up until now I've been doing 2 chord changes per bar. And now I come and do a 1 chord change for complete 2 bars. That's unheard of. I mean, first of all, on any other song, I would throw the balance right off and certainly stop the forward movement of the song. Doesn't happen in this case, it just works. And what does Arlen do? Well, he still stays on the 1 chord, but you're not going to hear it as a 1 chord. He moves into a first inversion of 1 and sharpens a 5, making it an augmented C chord. He is now actually aiming for that blues 4 chord, that F7. Can't go to it right away, so he goes up to the 5 chord and comes down chromatically by half step onto the blues 4. Let's listen to that. So there it is. That gives that bluesy flavor. And then a primary down 3 movement to the 2 chord and simply walks up to the 5 and ends the verse. Now let me play it for you in context. Hope you can tell the difference between the Sinatra part and the Miller part. The key of E, second verse. It starts off on the 1 chord, like in the first verse, to the 2 chord, but back down to the 2 chord, 1 chord. Up to 2, then back to 1. Turn around, back to 1. Now it starts its climb again. Looks like that same change we had in the first verse. Looks like it's going to change and go to the key of A, which was formerly the 4 chord in E, but that's not the case. Arlen decides that no, he's really going to go to the 4 chord. He's not going to change key. So we've obviously run into some tonicization here. The 2 of the 4, the B minor 7, to the 5 of the 4, and into the 4 chord. And he takes the 4 chord, augments it, and then a leap right down to a flat 7 chord, the D7 and E. Then he decides to leap up a tritone, equal division of the octave by half, up to the A flat, and come down chromatically with a step onto the tonic chord. And onto the tonic chord, 2 chord, to the 1 first inversion, and then B minor. And where does he take that? To a B flat 7. Why is the B flat 7 chord in the key of E? It doesn't belong there at all. Arlen is still looking to get to that 4 blues chord right there, that A7, but it needs a little more time, so he takes it and he approaches it differently from the first verse with 5 down chromatically to the blues 4. He literally moves momentarily into the key of E flat, which is 8 accidentals away from E, which is 4 sharps. I mean, you couldn't get further away from the key. Goes to the A flat, ends up being a blues 4 form of the E flat augmented, back to the 5, then drops onto the 4, and the same maneuver, primary down 3, and walks up from the 2 chord. 3, 4. Let's listen to that in context. I'll take it from C and do the modulation into the second verse into the key of E. Or the release of the song, which we're going to save for part 2. And believe me, the bridge and the last verse and the coda on the end of that are all unique as well, so you're in for a treat. I'd recommend take your time with the first part of this tutorial. Use the free frame forward and backwards until you really kind of understand what I've been talking about. And when you feel comfortable with that, I'll meet you up for part 2 for one from a baby and one more for the road. Bye for now.